So, from mysterious falling instruments...
You say, next time you get a fortune cookie, don't open it.
to somehow surviving 100 disabled guys falling on top of him.
Help! Help! Somebody help me!
Cartoon logic is always saving Peter Griffin's butt from an early grave, but what if he was subject to real-world mortality? Today, I'm diving into all 23 seasons of Family Guy to show you guys every time this idiot should have died. And I'm breaking it down into these categories, from accidents to scenes that'll make you go, what the f***? Let's kick things off with Peter Griffin's finest talent, being a terrible driver. With the dozens of car crashes he's been in, it's no surprise Peter wants to reincarnate as an airbag in his next life.
It's okay. It's okay. Peter's got you. Don't you worry. Everything's gonna be all right.
While most of this moron's crashes only warrant a few broken bones and a lifelong driving ban, ain't even 3 fat guy airbags is gonna save him from the wreck he got into in Coma Guy. After ruining Lois' sophisticated dinner party by flexing that he's never read a single book in his entire life, Peter is forced to go to the library and take out 1984. To be fair, Lois never specified which one.
This is books? Books kick ass!
Peter becomes addicted to Van Halen and keeps driving even more recklessly than usual. Eventually, Lois has had enough of the idiot constantly crashing into the house and makes him agree to return the CD. However, on the way to the library, Peter encounters the one thing he loathes more on this earth than reading.
No. Those days are behind me. I made a promise to a pancake.
Do it like. Do it.
Peter and Ernie are infamous for their physical battles, but this time they're about to Mario Kart the frick out of each other. It makes a change from knocking each other's brains out, but unlike the video game, encountering a banana peel is far from the most dangerous thing that can happen on that road. I mean, it's not even a Mario Kart. It feels like a blue shell or something. But anyway, I'm ruining the smooth transition.
Working squirrel.
Peter woke up from a coma a few days after the crash, but in real life, plowing straight into a tree at 80 miles per hour would almost certainly result in death. Honestly, I can't blame that darn squirrel. Moving on to one of Peter's most well-known car accidents in Family Guy, in Friends of Peter G, Peter drives home drunk after literally attending an AA meeting, and you guessed it, he dies. Death decided to give Peter a second chance at life, but not before showing him what his life would become if he continued down a path of alcoholism. Why are we pretending this isn't something he'd do stone cold sober?
A cigar burns.
Ah!
Ow! Ah! Wait a minute, who are you?
I'm your other son, Macabre, here for my cigar burn, good sir.
Wait, does Stewie like this? I guess it makes sense. Little man's only 1, but he's been into BDSM for years. That is a crazy sentence, like, outside of Family Guy context, but even inside Family Guy context.
What's next? Oh, I need to be taught a lesson and you're the one to do it. Thank you!
Peter, of course, never gave up the binge drinking, and he's never going to stop being a terrible friend either. I mean, how many times has he destroyed Cleveland's house?
No. Oh, hey, Cleveland. Australia, here I come.
Human cannonballs travel at a speed of 75 miles an hour, so getting fired straight into a brick house would destroy Peter harder than he destroyed the Clevelands. Despite his helmet, the rapid deceleration would make his brain slam into his skull, his organs would rupture, his bones would shatter, he'd be dead almost instantly. Peter should have also been killed in Big Fat when Quagmire's plane crashed nose first into the Canadian wilderness.
What happened? Did we crash?
Yeah, we crashed.
Wow.
There's absolutely no chance Peter, Joe, and Quagmire wouldn't have been instantly vaporized by that fireball. Cartoon logic saves the day again, no matter how stupid a decision Peter makes, and trust me, he makes a lot of them in the falling category. Unless he was lucky enough to land on a mountain covered in extremely thick snow like that Serbian air hostess, Peter jumping out of that airplane was basically suicide. Plummeting to the ground to his death sounds scary, but the extreme altitude would have knocked him unconscious before he finally splattered all over the ground like a tubby little tomato. Ooh, would not want to clean that up. Peter's a lucky guy to defy death so many times, but do you know who isn't lucky? Meg. Who am I kidding? This skydiving accident was 100% plain deliberate.
Yes, Heater. God, where are you? I can barely hear you.
Pull back my chair ever so slightly. Daddy's home.
In Turban Cowboy, Peter has become addicted to skydiving. The wind in his hair, the rush of adrenaline, he just can't get enough of it. That is until his butt suffers from this excruciatingly painful accident. Yeah, now he's definitely packing it all in.
Ground. Ah! Damn it! The Eiffel Tower. Oh, cool, I'm in Paris. Ah, crap, I'm in Vegas.
So obviously it doesn't take a genius to understand that falling 10,000 feet straight onto the Eiffel Tower butt first would result in death. Probably one of the most painful deaths imaginable, actually. What can I say? Death's a bitch. Peter suffers yet another fall in this episode. Funny thing is that he'd probably do something like this even if death wasn't off sick and the rules of mortality still applied.
Hey, look at that. I beat my loogie.
Death must be lazier at his job than me because Peter just keeps falling and never dying. It's not like he's tripped or been pushed to his doom. These are all self-inflicted accidents. To avoid them, all it takes is 5 working brain cells. Unfortunately for Peter, he only has 3.
It's not a liquid!
In addition to breaking all of his limbs, Peter also landed neck first, so that's also broken. Due to the force of his fat body hitting the coins, he should have severely damaged his spinal cord to the point of death. But hey, at least the family can afford a nice send-off. Not that he deserves one after what he did to Meg.
Thanks, didn't want to pay for the hole.
I doubt there's a single bone in Peter Griffin's body that he hasn't broken at least twice. In The Man with Two Brains, Peter becomes inspired by MTV's Jackass and tries performing his own dangerous stunts at the expense of his neck again.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God, are you okay?
What does it look like? What do I do? What did I feel something?
It's your spine, dude.
I'm scared.
Peter yet again survives deadly spinal cord damage, and as snapping his neck like a glow stick didn't make him think playing Jackass was a terrible idea, to the lake we go.
Wing and a prayer. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just...
If slamming into a tree head first didn't instantly kill Peter, he'd certainly be knocked out, and as you can't swim when you're unconscious, especially not with broken bones, he'd have inevitably drowned before anyone had time to reach him. Womp womp. Peter's final fall is definitely the stupidest I've saved for last, and that's really saying something. Like, dude deliberately jumped out of an airplane with no parachute. In Stewie's Excellent Adventures, Stewie time travels into the future and meets his future self. Right off the bat, things are a lot different than what he was expecting. Lois is still alive, he hasn't conquered the world, and Meg, well, she isn't even Meg anymore.
Knock, knock.
Oh, hi, Ron.
Who is that fellow? He looks so familiar. It's Meg. She had a sex change right after college. Wow, she went to college?
I can't stay too late. I gotta go shop for a razor. You know, for my face, where I grow my beard.
Okay, we get it, Ron. You're a guy.
Shut up, Ron. It doesn't really have the same ring to it, does it? Should have gone with Greg. One thing that doesn't add up about the episode is Meg going to college. How could Meg get a sex change after college if she couldn't afford to go to it in the first place? And why couldn't she afford to go?
Excellent. These dominoes are set up exactly as I want them, right next to the good china. Now I'll just place this priceless Fabergé egg in the center, right next to my newborn hemophiliac baby.
Hey, those yours?
Yes.
There was nothing to break Peter's fall, so he definitely should have died from that one. At least the guy's china and hemophilic baby weren't crushed by his fat ass. Moving on to category number 3, murder. Yeah, this one should be good. You don't exist as Peter Griffin without having at least 1,000 people who want to kill you at every stinking moment, and honestly, who could blame them? In hefty shades of gray, Peter searches up his house on Zillow and discovers it's actually a murder house. He, of course, sees this as the perfect opportunity to do some ghost busting with the guys, but they'd never pass up an opportunity to prank him.
What are you doing? Turn that light back on.
Have a good night, Peter.
Quagmire, help! Someone help me! Hey, open this door! Don't leave me alone with the ghost!
Peter spends the whole night in the basement terrified, and when Lois finds him the next morning, his hair has turned completely white from all the stress. Peter fully embodies his new look by starring in blood thinner commercials and even working as the white-haired news contributor at Channel 5.
Crime is way up, and you know why? Because of immigrants. I say, as Americans, we should all take a pledge to kick them out.
Back home, Lois rips into Peter for spreading fake news, but he continues fear-mongering Quahog by citing extremely high bogus crime rates. One night, Peter returns home feeling very proud of himself, but after talking with Lois, he agrees to never lie again. Not exactly sure how that's gonna pan out, especially with this new job he just got offered.
Donald Trump? You saw me on the news? You want me to be your press secretary in the next episode? Why, sure, I'd love to. We'll get started drawing it right away. Lois, pack your bag. We're joining the Trump administration.
Not sure what's worse, Peter getting his head ripped off or Meg getting him by Trump in the next episode. Probably the Trump thing. Peter actually should have died twice in Hefty Shades Grey, as he suffered the same exact fate in this cutaway gag.
Syrup.
You want the syrup, old man?
That wasn't the first time Peter got killed by his own child either. What a frackin' segue. In Throw It Away, all he wanted to do was borrow a ribbon from his dearest baby son, so that was the same as choosing death, apparently.
Hey, little guy, how's the sorting going? I'm not getting rid of my ribbons. Oh. I just wanted to know if I could borrow a ribbon.
A crossbow to the eye would pass through the eye socket and straight into the brain, causing, death. If Peter didn't die from severe brain damage, tearing the major blood vessels behind the eye would have caused fatal blood loss anyway. In Hannah Banana, Chris wants to prove the existence of the evil monkey in his closet and sets up a secret camera to capture video proof. In the morning, no monkey. Darn. At least he knows to lock all the doors and windows from now on, though.
Huh, nothing.
Chris doesn't give up and finally traps the evil monkey to show his family. This definitely wasn't the response he was hoping to get, though.
I got home from work one day and found my wife cheating on me with another monkey. All my money was gone, which means I lost the house, so I moved into Chris's closet just until I got back on my feet again. Wound up living in there for 9 years.
The evil monkey tries to make up with Chris and eventually wins him over by doing his homework and getting him an A on his algebra test. Chris ends up seeing the monkey as the father figure he's always wanted, and they even attend a father-son barbecue together that made Peter just a little bit jealous.
That's right, Dad. You never ask, and even if you did, you never listen. And now you're getting mad at the monkey because he actually cares? Screw you! You are the worst dad in the world, and I hate you!
Well, I hate you too!
Instead of apologizing for being a deadbeat dad, Peter gets revenge on Chris by dressing up as him at school and telling all the boys he's gay. In a 2000s high school, the worst thing an already fat loser kid could have been is gay, so Chris finally learns how to spell and puts up this totally not suspicious sign in the living room.
What's this? Put your head between these two restrained logs and win a free hat. Well, that's a no-brainer.
Come on, you fat do it.
Who's laughing now? I got my hat.
The show is surprisingly realistic in how severely they made and disfigured Peter's face like that. The thing they got wrong, though, is his survival. In reality, getting your noggin smashed between two massive logs would kill you instantly. Peter should be plain dead and horribly disfigured. Still, at least he can wear that goofy hat in his open casket. Not that many people would be attending the funeral of such a piece of trash anyway. Remember when the jackass shot Quagmire in the arms and Quagmire shot him in the head to get his own back? Literally every character in this show is a terrible person.
I'm the one who has to shoot him.
Wait a second. All right, then I get to shoot Joe. All right, he shot me. I mean, if we're doing things fair here, then...
All right, we're good.
I love how Peter always falls in the same position. Always wanted to buy a rug of that. So far, Peter should have been murdered by his wife, both his sons, his so-called best friend, and the most justified perpetrator of all I've saved for last.
Quinn got out. Hello, family. Let's eat all the garbage we want.
Serves him right for keeping his poor hairless bro trapped in the storm shed and feeding him garbage. Then again, maybe that was just Lois's regular cooking. We're moving up to category 4 now, folks. Explosions. And we're kicking this one off with a real bang. Yeah, that was the lowest hanging fruit. I'm sorry.
I took 10 M80s and stuck them all together. I call it Peter Griffin's Bunker Bustin' Mega Ultra Super... Holy crap!
M80s are extremely powerful fireworks now banned in the US due to so many accidents occurring. As 10 of these fireworks exploded in Peter's hands all at once, his entire hands would be blown off, maybe even his whole arms. Immediate rapid blood loss would occur, effectively killing him, and if not that, blast-related trauma to his internal organs would finish him off in the hospital a few days later. Moral of the story, don't mess with fireworks, kids. Don't mess with delicious dairy treats either. Remember what happened to Peter when he ate that fudge-sickle?
Oh boy, a fudge-sickle!
Peter's head would explode a second time in Trading Places. In this episode, Peter and Lois switch places with Chris and Meg to try and prove that being a kid is easier than being a grown-up. While they expected the kids to be crying and begging for their old lives back within 24 hours, it was actually the opposite that came true.
Lois Griffin doesn't make the track team, which is an important thing in high school right now.
Yeah, anyone is running track at her high school right now.
Yeah, and I bet she also doesn't live on the south side of town, which is suddenly important.
I hate your north side face!
Meg and Chris are loving their new adult lives, and while Peter and Lois are stuck at the loser's table in high school, it doesn't turn out to be all bad. Those pep rallies can be pretty pumpin'. Maybe too pumpin', actually.
Show me your school spirit!
The players will remember this while they're playing.
Peter survived his head exploding into confetti, and at the end of the episode, he and Lois both admitted that Chris and Meg were right. Being a kid is a lot harder than being an adult, apparently. Geez, if Peter's got it bad now, imagine how brutal life was for him as a kid. I wish I hadn't said that now.
Hey, kid, get in my van and I'll give you some candy.
Okay.
Bro, I was expecting Peter to die in way more explosions, especially with all the vehicles he can neither afford nor drive properly. She's like, can even Elon Musk afford a personalized blimp? Probably.
To the Hinden, Peter!
Oh my God!
Joe, I am so sorry.
Better question, how is Peter still alive? Dude just crashed a 10,000 kilogram blimp. It exploded with him presumably still inside. He just walks away without even a scratch on him. Peter's not only invincible to exterior damage, guys, his insides are stronger than his boxing sister, Heavy Flow. Unsurprisingly, stupid Mr. Griffin has managed to poison himself and others a bunch of times in the show. In New Kidney in Town, he made his own homemade Red Bull using kerosene, literal jet fuel.
Peter, that's insane. That'll destroy your body.
Kerosene is fuel, Brian. Red Bull is fuel. Kerosene is Red Bull. Now, why don't you leave me alone while I'm doing my important work? Peter, that drink will kill you. Brian, whatever kills me makes me stronger. See, Brian? I feel great.
Peter? Peter, are you alive?
Forget drinking kerosene, even just inhaling could have been life-threatening for Peter. As the moron gulped it down in his gullet like Pawtucket Ale, his inside should have immediately started burning like acid, triggering central nervous system depression, which should have led to a coma, and finally, death. But gotta have a Red Bull, right? I guess he acquired a taste for fuels because Peter guzzled petrol with Homer Simpson in The Simpsons Guy.
I feel sick.
Keep drinking. I prepaid $40.
Similar to the kerosene, Peter should have been immediately poisoned and heading back to Quahog in a body bag. At least if he died, Springfield would have been spared this absolute wasted talent. Peter wants to win a tour of the Pawtucket Brewery. All he needs to do is find a silver scroll hidden in a beer bottle. That's more than an achievable task when you're the Augustus Gloop of alcohol.
Go, 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 go. Nothing.
Peter, it's 7 in the morning.
Thanks for the update, Big Ben.
There's no fracking way Peter didn't drink enough beer that night to poison himself. Yes, you can die from alcohol poisoning, and it ain't pretty. If you don't die from passing out and choking on your own vomit like Jane from Breaking Bad, respiratory failure and coma will for sure finish you off. Peter's poisoned himself with liquids 3 times so far, so why not cancel it all out with some proper healthy treats?
And in a stunning turn of events, Chef Griffin is eating his entire meal. He'll have nothing to serve.
Forget heart disease and gaining like 20 pounds in one sitting. The real danger of Peter eating all that butter is acute pancreatitis, the rapid inflammation of the pancreatic organs. And yes, it can be fatal. Butter is 80 to 90% fat, so the extremely high levels of triglycerides entering Peter's bloodstream all at once, yeah, that would probably be fatal. If you've been poisoned, usually one of the first things a healthcare professional will do is induce vomiting. Peter is all too familiar with the emetic drug Ipecac, and that's why he spent 34 grand buying 8 crates full of the stuff. And what could possibly be the reason for that? Well, I'm just gonna let him tell you. It is so stupid, I might genuinely lose brain cells by saying it. But I don't got too many of those left.
Now, whoever goes the longest without puking gets the last piece of pie in the fridge.
One down. I know somebody who won't be having any.
Be stupid on your own. Like, don't bring your kids and dog into this. While Ipecac is supposed to save people from being poisoned to death, drinking a whole bottle like Peter did is a guaranteed fatal overdose. Fracking idiot. His stupidity just enrages me so many times. I don't know why I keep doing these videos. Our next dumb way to die is by animals. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Oh, that should be good. Like, how many animals has Peter pissed off? You can't count because it's too many. Like, they literally hate him so much that he has to merely exist to get mauled. Peter's Lord rules would be no armor against a grizzly bear attack to that degree. Like, his whole face just got ripped off. Yeah, he's deader than Meg's soul. Now, the bear attack I can probably kind of not forgive, but it really takes a special kind of stupid to get killed by an animal that's only 0.5 millimeters tall. Not counting, like, bacterium and stuff, even though they're way smaller. I mean, like, those deadly small things. I'm just like, I'm talking about ants, okay? Do not play with those little fricks.
You shall battle to the death, and the winner will be given his freedom. Why are you looking at me like that?
Peter, would you like a glass of... Oh my God! I told you not to play God with those ants!
A whole Noah's Ark of animals are about to get Peter, but there's one giant nugget who has a very serious vendetta against him. You don't get more iconic than the chicken fights, and yeah, Peter should have died in every single one. The first fight happens in Da Boom. In this episode, Peter gets offered a coupon from a guy in a chicken costume and decides not to take it. This cutaway will explain why.
And that nice chicken outside gave me this coupon.
I'm sorry, this is expired.
You son of a...
Smashing a store window because a chicken gave you an expired coupon is already the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, so I don't even know what you can call this.
Chicken gave me a bad coupon.
Ernie might be a giant chicken, but even he wouldn't be enough to break Peter's fall from a 200-story skyscraper. Like with all of his chicken fights, Peter casually walks off into the distance as if nothing ever happened, while Ernie comes back to life and glares at him with a vengeance. And the chicken fight wasn't even the only time Peter should have died in that episode. When he's warned about the dangers of the new millennium, he locks his family in a bomb shelter in the basement right before an accidental nuclear missile strike from the US government destroys the world. As you just witnessed, Quahog was directly hit by a nuclear bomb. The explosion looked minor in the show, but in reality, it would have been catastrophic. Peter and his family should have been inside the fireball radius, and that means they'd be instantly vaporized, and no hiding in the basement would have made even a minuscule difference. In blind ambition, Peter is down for round 2 with Ernie after he jumps him outside of his own home, because that coupon is still way more important than hundreds of innocent lives. If we slow the clip down, we can see that Peter was hit dead on by that oncoming train. Yeah, that should have been an instant death, but he just keeps batting this giant cock through Quahog and even onto a passing cruise ship. Falling 300 feet straight onto a glass roof, another instant death. Which is good because, ow, Peter fell into the engine room and ended up diverting the ship back to the docks at full speed, annihilating at least 30% of Quahog in the process. Ernie was then hit by a plane's propeller, ending the war until the next season. No Chris Left Behind showed us Lois attempting to have an adult conversation with Peter about Chris's education, but he blew her off to fight a giant chicken for the 3rd time. Why do they never have these battles in an empty field where they can't hurt other people? A real derailing subway cart would never make it up the stairs, so the exit and 2 miles down the high street. The most likely scenario is that it slams straight into the concrete stairs, shattering on impact, killing probably around half of the passengers on board. Peter and Ernie would be the first frickers to go. Another fatal crash should have happened when Peter and Ernie hijacked this guy's plane. The Ferris wheel rolls through Quahog like an atomic tumbleweed, destroying everyone and everything, except for, of course, Ernie and Peter. At this point, why are they even trying to kill each other? Like, surely they know neither one of them can actually ever die. Perhaps that's why they decided to settle the differences over dinner.
You know, I drive by this place all the time, and I've never been inside. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, and you know, Nicole and I came here by accident.
Round 4 kicks off over who foots the bill, but I want to know who's footing the damage for whoever owns this poor restaurant. Peter bashes Ernie's brains into the pan before once again fading away into the distance like a big fat bloody mirage. Round 4, technically round 5 of Peter versus Giant Chicken kicks off in internal affairs after Peter accidentally reverses into Ernie's car. Chickens can drive? Oh yeah, and they can time travel to boot. Steam engines might be an old mode of transportation, but they're still hella lethal to get in front of. I don't think this would be an instant death for Peter, though. Just hundreds of broken bones, severe brain damage, and major blood loss, i.e. he definitely wouldn't last the next 48 hours in the hospital. After getting transported back to present-day Quahog without even realizing they were gone in the first place, Peter and Ernie are sent flying through the sky straight through an ironic billboard. Again, another instant death. Ain't nobody surviving getting propelled through a steel billboard at 100 miles per hour and living to tell the tale. Peter battles Ernie into a science lab and straight into a cloning machine. Now there's a whole army of Peter clones fighting giant chickens, and nothing could be more awesome. That was the OG Peter, so we'll add another death to the counter for getting electrocuted by a chicken. A Peter clone throws an Ernie clone back into the cloning machine, triggering a massive explosion. This should have killed all the clones, but killing people is definitely OG Peter's thing. Peter and Ernie head to space and continue trying to knock each other out in zero gravity, killing a bunch of astronauts in the process, but there's a surprise. Peter's last death should have occurred when the spaceship crash lands right into a naval base and explodes. After violently fisting Ernie and choking him with a chain, Peter thinks he's finished the KFC bargain bucket off for good and swims to shore before walking away into the distance yet again. The final Peter versus Ernie showdown takes place in Yug-Yimlav. I think Yug-Yilamav. It's Family Guy spelled backwards. I never know how to say it. However, due to the effects of Stewie's broken time machine, the whole fight plays out backwards, okay? There's obviously nowhere Peter should have survived that catastrophic plane crash, and Ernie's definitely not playing fair this time either. Like, the fight's supposed to be purely physical. Bringing in a grenade was a serious low blow move, if you ask me. Again, no way Peter would have survived a blast that powerful. That's a wrap at the chicken fights, guys, and Peter should have died a total of 14 times throughout that whole saga. Seriously, like, what an embarrassing way to go out. Here lies Peter Griffin. He died as he lived, fighting a giant chicken who gave him a bad coupon. No, wait, I think I've actually found something way more embarrassing than that, if you can believe it.
Stop! You're hurting him!
No, that's just air escaping. They can't feel anything.
Here lies Peter Griffin, snuffed out by lobsters. Oh yeah, and how could I possibly have forgotten that time a mongoose slit his throat?
Having Sloppy Joe.
Mongoose! Mongoose!
If this video was about literally anyone else, this next category would seem very sad, but it actually just makes you angry. Like, what kind of moron's 13th reason is a polite invitation to join a book club?
What's going on here?
Oh, it's my book club, Peter. Come, join us.
Oh, okay.
Yes, this is the sewer slide category. Sure, plenty of people survive a broken neck, however, Peter immediately hit the floor. That would suggest he damaged his spinal cord so much he instantly collapsed and died, as that was his intention all along. So, congrats to him, I guess. Let's just say I'm sure there's a book club waiting for him in hell. Peter's 13th reasons get even more ridiculous from here, if you can believe it, and I know you all can. In a cutaway from Turkey, guys, the kids presented Peter with a wonderful tie for Father's Day, and what'd he do with it? Oh, well, he wore it, just not exactly out to dinner.
Tie. Perfect.
I mean, if he didn't like the color, he could have just said that. I'm sure Lois probably kept the receipt. The first time Peter actually hung himself was back in season 9, in the episode Teagues for 2. Peter loses his favorite white shirt. Convinced Mr. Washy Washy is hiding it, he breaks into his house, and would have been shot if he wasn't such a fat ass.
Okay, it's not my shirt.
You break in my house, I can kill you legally!
Fine, shoot me, but you're gonna ruin the shirt.
Take off shirt!
Peter battles Mr. Washy Washy in an arcade game style fight, but loses and gets arrested. Being the good boy he is, Brian comes to bail his owner out of jail.
Take you home. I don't know, Brian. This is the only world I know anymore.
Peter, you've been in there for 15 minutes.
I think the more ridiculous his reason for suicide, the bloodier the act becomes. In German Guy, Lois wants Chris to find a hobby outside of... So Peter tries showing him the gentle art of stamp collecting. There's just one problem. It's really frickin' boring. So boring, in fact, that he can't just stop. He needs to unalive himself and give Chris a lifelong phobia of stamps in the process.
Now we'll just paste this very carefully into the book. Now this is a loaded handgun. And what we're gonna do now is kill ourselves because this is horrible.
Peter's most recent suicide took place in Bend of Blockbuster. It's family game day at the Griffins, and the game this time is Yucker. Just like the stamp collecting, listening to Lois explain the rules is very boring, and Peter cannot, for the life of him, handle boring. He reaches into his pocket for something that'll end his misery. I mean, he could have just walked away, but shooting himself twice is just a better way to tell Lois this game totally sucks.
Side to win 2 games wins the rubber.
The dealer has the right to exchange any turned-up card.
Oh my God, it's the same!
If the face-up card is a jack, it's considered bad luck.
She was so busy reading the rules, she didn't even notice what just happened. Talk about reading right past death. We've reached the WTF category now, folks. Basically, the just insane, absolute nutter-butter deaths that simply cannot be categorized. Where do I even begin? Well, Peter Griffin froze solid into fat air.
Everyone get into a hilarious pose, so when they dig out our bodies, they'll have a good laugh.
This guy's pretty funny.
In Batman and Rob M., he accidentally killed himself and his family because Star Wars is apparently more important than implementing basic safety measures.
Well, we learned a lot this week. Probably because I took the batteries out of the detector and put them in an old Star Tours visor that lights up. Was it worth it? I don't know.
Peter spontaneously combusted in a fish out of water.
Oh dear, what is it? I've spontaneously combusted. Oh, I am sorry. Oh, it's quite all right. I've grown tired of living. Ah, very good then. For the best. Yes, indeed.
A cutaway from E. Peterbus Unum shows Peter on fire again. Peter was stuck on the Ferris wheel and probably would have burned to death before the ride came to a stop. If you're on fire, you should stop, drop, and roll, or get a hose and put the flames out with water. Somehow Peter Griffin can kill himself that way too.
Turn it on. I'm very thirsty. Nice job, Chris.
Okay, I totally should have called this category the frackin' gross category, shouldn't I have? I mean, just look it up in Family Guy viewer mail number 1.
That ought to show you. Oh no, I got a fart, but I don't know which way to lean.
Peter should have been dead the moment the genie granted his wish of having no bones, as all his organs would lose structure. Even if the magic kept him alive somehow, he definitely would have been crushed to death on the escalator at the mall. Or should I say, in the escalator.
Let go!
Brother, the fact that this isn't even the grossest he's ever looked either. In Get Stewie, Peter gets a lap band surgery and actually enjoys having all the extra skin.
We're gonna call you Mr. Skin. Oh, really? We'll call you something else.
You know what? You guys can't hurt me.
Peter starts spending even more time away from the family than usual, angering Lois, who told him to get the weight loss surgery in the first place to spend more time with Chris. However, Peter's only 99% a horrible father. Sometimes that 1% pulls through, and he shows up at Chris's science fair to help him get an A on his electricity demonstration.
Never seen Quahog from this high before. A lot of cars parked in backyards. What a dump.
Okay, so if getting struck by lightning didn't instantly kill Peter, the fall certainly would have finished him off. Of course, that wasn't the first time Peter Griffin got struck by lightning. That honor belongs to the Season 3 episode, Death Lives.
That was close.
If, like me, you were concerned for Peter's bowel health after he had that terrible, terrible bout of diarrhea at work.
Oh, finally! Now I can get myself to the... Uh-oh!
Then you must have been absolutely horrified that time he sharded in the jacuzzi. I can't.
Yeah, here it comes.
Ah! Oh my God! Peter, what's wrong with you?
To turn an entire hot tub bright red, Peter definitely had to shard out every last drop of blood in his body, which would be roughly 1.5 gallons. Sorry, this is really disgusting. I just love that word. You should be deader than Joe's legs right about now. There's no way even the most competent of doctors could have saved him, and those don't exist in Quahog anyway. Remember Peter's discounted open heart surgery?
I'm not sure which one to cut here. The red one or the blue one?
Okay, just relax. Let's see. First, why don't you attach that green one to that purple one?
Okay, here goes. Oh, God!
That kill me?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was afraid of that. All right, try the green one and the blue one.
If you can't remember middle school biology, veins have one-way valves. Attaching two veins that weren't designed to carry blood in the same direction would destroy the valves, causing a blood clot, which would lead to a fatal heart attack. Just not as instantaneously as Peter's. You guys, I can't think of any Family Guy episode more worthy of the WTF category than The Simpsons guy. In this crossover special, the Griffins end up in Springfield after getting run out of Quahog by an angry mob Peter pissed off by being sexist. I would say long story, but that's pretty much it. While the albino visitors look for their stolen car, they crash with none other than the Simpsons.
Thank you so much for putting us up until we find our car. And thank you for not being a band of hippie murderers.
Peter and Homer become the best of friends, but everything turns sour when Pawtucket Ale is found to be an imitation of Duff beer. As an employee of Pawtucket Brewery, Peter is held responsible for the copyright infringement, and beer was just the start. Did I say brewery? Whatever.
Packages and design elements have been similarly infringed, resulting again and again in pale imitations, cheap copies, clumsy counterfeits, and weak substitutions.
Do you like I don't think we're very similar.
You know why they got us sitting next to each other.
Judge Fred Flintstone declares both Duff and Pawtucket Ale to be imitations of his beer. Still, Pawtucket Brewery is put out of business, leaving Peter without a job. Yeah, he's pretty pissed if you couldn't already tell.
You!
Peter gets into an epic battle with Homer Simpson, and he should have died a bunch of times during this showdown. Let me break it down for you. After the initial punch-up has begun, Homer hijacks a school bus and repeatedly bashes Peter's face in by opening and closing the doors. Now, if he didn't already die from severe head trauma, this surely should have finished him off. getting smashed between an 18-ton bus and a brick wall should have already been enough to crush Peter to a pulp, so I guess it doesn't even matter that he hit that tree trunk too. As he's invincible, he responds on top of the bus with nothing but a few scratches. Homer lets go of the wheel to rough up Peter some more, and the bus spins completely out of control, plowing straight into the nuclear power plant. If the initial crash didn't already kill him, slamming through an industrial wall would have certainly sealed Peter's fate. Homer begins pelting Peter with all of his Emmys, but accidentally throws one into the control room, triggering an imminent meltdown that totally messes up the plant's electrical system. Peter should have been Frank Grimed by the extremely high voltage, but he just keeps on surviving, even when falling 5 stories into a vat of toxic nuclear waste. Ooh. While Peter would have dissolved to a skeleton by falling into all that waste, the effects of the extreme radiation plus the near boiling temperature would have caused the most diabolical chemical and thermal burns in human history. Like, imagine the worst sunburn you've ever had times a quadrillion. Obviously, Peter wouldn't have mutated into the Hulk. He would have died pretty much rapidly, insanely, instantly. Look at me. Rapidly, insanely, instantly. I am such a fracking YouTuber, dude. His cells would have been kaplooey. Next, we see superpowered radioactive Homer and Peter flying towards each other at supersonic speeds, causing an atomic bomb explosion as their mighty fists greet each other, painfully. Those unlucky civilians pretty much summed up what should have happened to Peter, instantly vaporized until he's nothing but a scorch of dust raining from the sky. And we'll add 5 more deaths to the counter for these domino effect explosions that happen a few seconds later.
Damn it!
Peter gets shot out of a cannon by Sideshow Mel before battling Homer all the way to space. Being in space with no oxygen would have killed the guy. Contrary to popular myth, his head wouldn't have exploded from the lack of oxygen. It definitely would have from plowing into this, though.
Are destroying themselves. Yeah, it's really great, isn't it, guys? We went to summer camp together.
Peter and Homer crash back down to Earth and land in the most iconic of places.
We're gonna make it!
Trust me, we're not.
I mean, do I even need to explain why he should have died from that? No, I don't. Honestly, Homer's so used to falling down gorgeous, he'd probably survive this even if he wasn't a cartoon. Peter, though, he should have been dead before he hit the ground. After getting crushed by a school bus, enduring explosion after explosion, suffering deadly chemical burns, and crash landing 350,000 feet from space, all with nothing but a few bruises and scratches, all it finally takes to knock Peter Griffin out is one slow-mo knuckle sandwich. Funnily enough, that was the one part of the fight he should have survived. Also, I've watched every Treehouse of Horror episode, and Homer's eye popping out of its socket is literally grosser than all of those frickers combined. Well, there you have it, folks. Every time Peter Griffin should have died in Family Guy. From decapitations to giant chicken fights to sharding in a tub. My calculations show the idiot should have died a total of 78 times, at the very least. At this point, why should Peter even bother going on a diet? It's not like a heart attack can kill him anyway. Want to see more videos like this one, guys? Click the screen right about now, and as always, thank y'all for watching.